I'm Bruce Kingsbury. I'm a professor in biology, and I do research on reptiles and amphibians and other wildlife and their conservation. And I'm also the director of the Environmental Resources Center at IPFW.
Good. All right, so go ahead and give me a little bit of history. How did you get in your field? Why did you get in your field?
I've always been interested in reptiles, particularly snakes. I think a lot of children are interested in those sorts of creatures, and I just didn't grow out of it. And so to this day, I still find them to be quite fascinating.
Good. Now, tell us about the ERC.
So as part of my development professionally, in terms of being interested in conservation and the environment and that sort of thing, I felt it was really important for me not only to do research on wildlife, reptiles in particular, and that sort of thing, but also to speak to the decision makers that were actually influencing things like resource management, and also to the general public as directly as possible. And so I started the what I think was officially the first Center of Excellence, although we have had excellent centers before that program even began. We had the Center for Reptile and Amphibian Conservation and Management, and that was an effort on my part to go beyond the research that I was doing and also enhance the number of educational opportunities for students and also develop outreach that would be valuable for resource managers. And that started in 2000, and then in 2012 I wanted to make the umbrella of the center more obviously broad in an environmental sense, and so I asked if I could change the focus of the HERP Center, as we called it, into the Environmental Resources Center, and that would allow us to more obviously engage other faculty that were not doing things with reptiles and amphibians, and also the local community. So I had two items or agenda bits that I wanted to get to with the ERC that were different from the HERP Center. And the first was to make it clearer to everyone that we were much broader than reptiles and amphibians, and also I wanted to have that opportunity to work locally. And so I have focused a lot of energy over the last year or two on engaging folks in Fort Wayne and the immediate vicinity to try to not only bring about an awareness of the ERC, Environmental Resources Center, but also to IPFW and to what we have to offer. So HERP Center to Environmental Resources Center, and that is what I'm focusing a lot of energy on now. And what I want to achieve with the ERC is similar to what I was trying to do before, but again, be local and be as inclusive as possible. And I want to build community. I want to do that with other faculty, with the students, and with folks right here in town. I want to do a lot of research, just like I've always done, but I also want to keep building on educational opportunities, and finally just keep on doing things like presenting outreach materials on the internet, and in terms of outreach like this book that I'm very proud of. This is actually the second edition of our habitat management guidelines for amphibians and reptiles of the Midwestern United States, and that was years in the making and involved many people actually across the country, and that came out recently, and that's the kind of thing that I really love to do, because I know that that's going to be influential, and the idea is not to just do stuff but actually have an impact, and I think we are.
Neat. Okay, so tell me about current research. What are you doing right now? What are you planning on the future?
We have so many things going on. Currently we have projects that involve the copper-bellied water snake. That's a federally threatened species. We're looking into what habitat requirements that species has, where the populations are, how big they are, that sort of thing. We not only spend time out in the field actually looking for them, but also do habitat modeling using geographic information systems. We have a couple of students that are working on a species called the eastern Massasauga. It's a little tiny rattlesnake, and some live right around here, but many of the populations are in Michigan. So we have projects up there looking at timber harvest, thermoregulation, the response to fire after the fire has gone through, not during the fire, but to see how the animals actually utilize the habitat after the fire has gone through. I have another project with a student working on snapping turtles right here in the river. I'm very interested in urban ecology, and that's a way to get started on that. Some of the stuff we have coming up that I think is pretty exciting are looking at head starting and translocation of reptiles. Head starting is when you raise them in captivity to give them a head start, and translocation is when you pick things up and you put them somewhere else, which you could do to get them out of harm's way, but you could also do it in order to help a population. You introduce new individuals, so you change the genetics of the population a bit to help them avoid inbreeding, things like that. So those are some examples of some things that are coming up.